My name is Mia, and I needed a break. Living in New York City can get overwhelming, so I decided to take a weekend trip to a historic hotel in upstate New York. The building was old and charming, the perfect place to relax. My first night there, I was exhausted from the drive. I fell asleep quickly, but around midnight, I woke up suddenly. At the foot of my bed sat an elderly woman. She was dressed in old-fashioned clothes and just stared at me. I was frozen. Who was she? Why was she in my room? I reached for the light, my heart pounding, and as soon as the room lit up, she vanished. Had I imagined her? The next day, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I asked the hotel manager if there was a history of the place. He told me it used to be a hospital back in the early 1900s. My curiosity got the best of me, and I did some research. I found out that an elderly woman named Eleanor had died there under mysterious circumstances. Could it be her? Was her spirit still here that night? I tried to sleep, but my mind was racing. Would she come back? Around midnight, I felt a cold breeze in the room. I opened my eyes, and there she was again, closer this time. "What do you want?" I whispered. She didn't answer, just stared at me with sad eyes. I turned on the light, and once again, she disappeared. The following day, I felt a mix of fear and determination. I needed to know more. I spoke to a few locals who confirmed Eleanor's story. She had been a nurse at the hospital and had died under mysterious circumstances, with rumors of foul play. But why was she haunting me? That evening, as I was brushing my teeth, I heard a soft humming. It was a lullaby. My heart raced. I followed the sound to the hallway, where it suddenly stopped. I felt a chill down my spine. Was she trying to tell me something? Back in my room, I decided to stay awake. Midnight came, and the room grew cold. Eleanor appeared again. This time, I was ready. "How can I help you?" I asked. Her eyes seemed to plead with me. Suddenly, I felt a sharp pain in my chest and couldn't breathe. Panicking, I gasped for air, and she reached out as if to help, but then she vanished. I knew I had to leave. I packed my bags, heart still pounding. As I walked down the hallway, I saw a shadow move across the wall. Was she following me? I hurried to my car and drove away, not looking back. When I got home, I couldn't stop thinking about Eleanor. What had happened to her? Why did she choose to show herself to me? I might never know. The experience left me shaken and questioning. Are some spirits truly unable to rest? Can they reach out to the living for help? One thing is certain. I won't be returning to that hotel anytime soon. I had been driving for hours, the endless desert stretching out before me. My name is Michael. I'm 30, from Miami, and I was on a cross-country road trip. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I decided to stop at a small roadside motel in a remote desert town. It looked old but had a certain charm, a relic from another era. Why did I choose this place? Maybe it was the fatigue, or maybe something drew me here. I checked in and was given a room at the end of the hall. As I was unpacking, I heard a faint knock on the door. I opened it to find a young girl, no older than 10, standing there. She had an old-fashioned dress and looked lost. "Are you okay?" I asked her. She didn't answer, just stared at me with wide, sorrowful eyes. I felt a chill run down my spine. "What's your name?" I tried again. "Lily," she whispered, barely audible. Before I could say anything else, she vanished right in front of me. One moment she was there, the next she was gone. I blinked, wondering if the fatigue was playing tricks on me. But the cold, eerie feeling lingering in the air told me otherwise. What just happened? I couldn't shake the image of her sad eyes. I decided to go to the front desk and ask about the girl. The clerk looked puzzled. "There's no one like that here," he said. "You must be tired. Get some rest." But rest was the last thing on my mind. I did some digging online and found out the motel had a dark history. During the Great Depression, it served as a refuge for travelers. One night, a fire broke out, and a family perished, including a young girl named Lily. Could it be the same Lily? The thought haunted me as I continued my journey the next day. Every stop, every motel, I felt her presence. Sometimes I'd catch a glimpse of her in the corner of my eye, only for her to disappear when I turned to look. Why was she following me? What did she want? These questions gnawed at me, keeping me on edge. I started to piece together the fragments of her story, feeling an odd connection to her plight. At my next stop, a small motel on the outskirts of another dusty town, I saw her again. This time, I wasn't scared. I approached her slowly. "Lily," I said softly, "what happened to you?" Her eyes welled up with tears. "We couldn't get out," she whispered. "The fire, it was too fast." I felt a deep sadness for her. "How can I help you?" I asked. "Tell our story," she said, her form fading. "We need to be remembered." And with that, she was gone. But the chill in the air remained, a constant reminder of her presence. I knew what I had to do. As I continued my journey, I shared Lily's story with everyone I met, ensuring that the memory of her and her family would never be forgotten. The ghostly encounters stopped, but the haunting memory of Lily stayed with me. I had found a purpose in her tragic tale, and in sharing it, I hoped to give her the peace she sought. Working late nights at the historic library was usually peaceful. My name is Olivia, I'm 32, and I'm from Boston. I love the quiet, the smell of old books, and the feeling of being surrounded by history. But one night, everything changed. It started with faint footsteps. I was alone, or at least I thought I was. Who else could be here at this hour? The library had been closed for hours. I shrugged it off, thinking it was just my imagination. But then I heard whispers, soft and urgent, coming from the stacks. Who could it be? I grabbed my flashlight and walked towards the sound. The whispers grew louder, more desperate. I followed them to a dark corner of the library, where a bookshelf stood slightly ajar. Behind it, I found an old diary, covered in dust. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened it. The diary belonged to a librarian named Margaret. She wrote about her obsession with preserving the library's treasures. She believed the books held secrets that needed to be protected at any cost. Her entries grew more frantic, detailing how she would do anything to keep the books safe, even if it meant harming those who threatened them. Why was this hidden here? I wondered. As I read, the temperature in the room dropped, and I felt a cold breath on my neck. I spun around, and there she was, a ghostly figure, pale and translucent. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I am Margaret," she replied, her voice echoing. "You must protect the books, or face dire consequences." My heart pounded. "What do you mean?" "If the books are lost, so are we," she said, her eyes filled with a chilling intensity. "You must continue my work." The lights flickered, and she vanished. I stood there, shaken, clutching the diary. Over the next few nights, strange things kept happening. Books would fall off shelves, pages would turn on their own, and the whispers never stopped. I knew I had to do something. What was Margaret hiding? I decided to dig deeper into the library's history. I discovered that Margaret had died in a fire that nearly destroyed the library decades ago. It was said that she set the fire herself to protect the books from being taken away. Could it be true? The more I learned, the more I felt her presence. One night, as I was reading her diary, the room grew icy cold again. Margaret appeared, looking more desperate than ever. "Save the books," she pleaded, "or join me." I realized then that she was trapped, bound to the library by her obsession. To break the curse, I had to find a way to honor her wishes without losing myself. With trembling hands, I began to write her story, documenting her life and her dedication to the library. I made sure the books were well cared for, organizing them meticulously and sharing their histories with visitors. Slowly, the strange occurrences stopped. Margaret's ghost no longer haunted the library. I could feel her gratitude in the stillness of the night. By understanding her and preserving the library's legacy, I had given her the peace she sought. But every time I hear a whisper in the library, I remember Margaret's warning. The books must always be protected, for they hold more than just stories. They hold the spirits of those who love them.